Welcome to Grumpy Bear's Adventures. I'm Robbie Grumpy Bear Brown. I am here to celebrate a very important day in the history of America. On this date, June 14th, 1777, the Continental Congress got together and they passed a proclamation for a banner, a flag for our Union, an official flag. Up until June 14th, 1777, there was not an official American flag. One of the most popular ones that they were using at the time was called the Union Jack, which had 13 stripes of red and white, just like our current flag. But in the Union, the blue part of the flag was the a smaller cropped version of the British flag. Now, that by 1777, the American Revolution was well underway, and at the time they needed something to bring all of the colonials together, and the flag was the way to do it. So today we're here along the banks of the Susquehanna. Don't mind me, I'm old, need to sit down and rest a little bit here. But yes, it is truly a great 249 years that our flag has flown over this country, and it has been a symbol for many of patriotism, loyalty, bravery, freedom. Freedom is the big one right there. And I'm here today to tell you my feelings on the flag. It's great nation. It was about 30 years ago, a little more than 30 years ago, closer to, actually, it was 35 years ago. We had a little thing going on over in the Persian Gulf called Desert Shield, where we had a country that wanted to invade another one, and the U.S. stepped in and decided they needed to be part of it and to liberate them. So we went in against Iraq. It's Iran today, unfortunately, but that's a whole other swamp. The Iranian conflict has been going on ever since I was a kid, and I'm 53 years old, so well over 40 years that we've had to deal with the Iranians and their quest for nuclear power. But we're here today, enjoying such a beautiful day. Now, get back to my story. I'm sorry, I got off track again. But the flag and what it means to me, ever since I was a little kid, I was always fascinated with our history of this country. And those that have freed this country and made it possible for us to have the way of life that we live. But unfortunately, nowadays it seems to be going just back the other way with taxes. The taxes are getting way out of hand. We pay taxes on everything. But that's for another story. We're not going to get into the political dispute today because we are here to honor our nation. And we need to come together as a people, put our political views aside, and remember that we are one nation under whatever God that you worship. we use the word God in the Pledge of Allegiance of the United States, not as referring just to the Christian God, but anyone's God for which the First Amendment was written. That Constitution, along with our flag, is pretty much all that this nation really has to keep us together. We're not based on a kingdom. We are based on a republic, a democratic republic at that. So we are not a very true democracy. I mean, yeah, we say majority rules and all that, but there are rules written into our government for checks and balances of everything. But back in 1776, or probably we decided that we weren't going to take being taxed by a king 3,000 miles away very well anymore. We were supporting them and not being represented at all. We had no voice in Parliament, and we wanted a voice. And the Sons of Liberty brought us that voice. And at that time, George Washington, they were losing the battle actually beginning with. The Revolutionary War was not as quick and dry cut as it seems they want you to think it was. Because here's the flag that we have that George Washington commissioned from Betsy Ross back in 1776, and it was finally all put together and made legal in 1777 on June 14th by the Second Continental Congress. Don't mind me just using some very small thread here to attach my flag to my pole. Did you know in 1812 that the flag matters? Wait, now I'm forgetting some highlights here. McHenry, over Fort McHenry, down along the Chesapeake Bay. There was a battle fought there in 1812. It was kind of our second revolution. Soviet. The British tried and invaded us after leaving us alone for a few years. They thought they'd come back, take us back, put us under their rule. So, and once again, we stood up to them. Were able to fight off the wolves. One thing that Francis Scott Key was out in the harbor, held prisoner at the time on a British ship. They'd won out there to on a diplomatic nation per se, and they got caught up and stuck on the ship during the battle. And as the battle ensued over as the night progressed with rockets and cannon fire and musket fire coming from the harbor to weaken the fort's defenses. The people there fought back. They fought back, they did. There was battle ensued. Francis Scott Key was looking out. He was under decks there, and he wasn't up on deck like a lot of people think. But anyways, he was there and witnessed this epic battle. And as the sun rose that next morning on Fort McHenry and over the Chesapeake Bay, he seen that our flag still stood there. And at the time, our flag there was huge. It was massive. The colonel of the fort there had it made special so that the British could see it from way offshore as they came to our nation to know who they were coming to fight. And that particular flag had gone through some changes because we had added a couple new states since the Revolution. And it contained 15 stars in the Union and not the 13 that I have here. Now, as you can see, 13 stars, 13 stripes. Our flag has been to many, many other nations, and our soldiers have fought on a lot of other foreign soils, but all in hopes of protecting our flag, our Constitution, and our way of life. And to them, I would like to take a moment of silence and remember their great sacrifice of what they did. So, here's to the United States of America, and I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Now, I hope you liked this video. It's kind of pretty rough right now. Hopefully I can refine my talents when I get into editing software and learning how to edit. This is all raw, brought to you as it's shot. No cuts, no redos. It's not perfect. It's just me, Grumpy Bear Brown. You can please like, subscribe, share, and I will hopefully be bringing you more videos at least once a week here on YouTube. So, hope to see you next week.